Gerald McCoy is listening to us go crazy. 11 NFLs. We're just going crazy on this. I think J-Mac made a good point that in basketball, cool sells shoes and cool's part of it. Whereas in the NFL, I don't care if Gerald McCoy or Ndamukong Suh are cool. Can you use your hands, get past the guard, get to the quarterback, I'm good. So when we got into this discussion earlier on Jordan Love of the Packers. So there's virtually no video in 3 years of him. And my takeaway, Gerald, is when Mahomes went to the Chiefs, stuff started leaking out 15 minutes in. So, I mean, all sorts of video. It's like, that dude can play because the Chiefs want that video out. Should I be concerned? 3-4 years, I don't have any video on him at practice. What does that tell you?
I don't want to say you should be concerned more than just temper your expectations. You know, when you got a guy that has no film or nobody talking about him or, you know, not a lot being said, also you got to look at who was he behind.
Yeah.
Do you think 12 was going to really let a lot get out on 10? I mean, let's just be honest. You talk about him a lot. You know, Aaron Rodgers was not going to let a lot get out on 10. Like, I don't care how y'all feel about him being in the future and all, and nobody's going to ever know. So I think we all could be surprised. You know, just temper your expectations. I mean, you got to think, you coming off 3-time MVP, first ballot Hall of Famer, a 4-time MVP, first ballot Hall of Famer, and then you got Jordan Love. Like, just temper your expectations a little bit and just let's see what happens. You know, I don't think Packers fans or any analyst or anybody that's looking at the Green Bay Packers should say, man, he's going to be this or that. Just let him be and let's see what happens.
So we got into a debate earlier. So DeAndre Hopkins, the Patriots, Chiefs, and Titans, 3 good coaches, are interested. And Jason said, well, why hasn't he signed? And my takeaway is, how do we know that he's not just being picky? Like, if I was talented and I had Vrabel, Belichick, and Andy Reid after, I'm not taking the first offer. I'm sitting back and waiting. But there is a growing sense, that nobody wants DeAndre Hopkins because he hasn't signed. And I would argue, as a player, he should sit and watch camp and wait for guys to get hurt, and then his value is going to go way up. So you tell me, do you think there's a market for him? I think he's being smart not signing now. Your thoughts?
Yeah, there's no rush. I mean, he's DeAndre Hopkins. He don't have nothing to prove. He's DHop. You know, and you have those 3 great coaches. You said the Titans, the Patriots, and the Chiefs. I mean, that's 3 phenomenal teams that he will be a well-accepted asset to. But he's also later in his career, not saying he's lost a step or he's not that. What I'm saying is he's at a point in his career where he doesn't have to rush.
That's right.
The rush? What's the rush? Listen, here's the reality of the NFL. Who comes into training camp for a couple reasons? Whoever comes into training camp will not be there when training camp's over. You have cuts and you have injuries. Okay? Whoever starts on opening day on that team will not be there by the end of the season because you have injuries, you have people getting released, you have trades. He doesn't have to rush. There's no need to rush. He's DHop. Last year, he was out, obviously due to suspension, but when he showed up, did he not produce at a high level? Yes, he did. So what's the rush? He doesn't need to rush. I guarantee you there's a market for DHop, and anywhere he goes, he's going to make the right decision. When the Bucks and I decided to part ways, that next day I had 15 teams call. 15. And I took my time, went to visit here, went to visit here, went to visit here. Went home, talked to my agent, talked to my wife, talked to my dad, talked to my sister. There's a lot to think about when you're making this decision. There's no need to rush, especially when you're DeAndre freaking Hopkins. There's a market for him, trust me. There's no need to rush into no organization because you like, oh, that looks good, but then I get there and I'm not happy or it doesn't fit me or no, just wait because something might open up. You never know.
Yeah. So you were on Hard Knocks with the Bucks in 2017. I do think if I was HBO, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets would be the team I'd want to see. Was it in any way disruptive? You're acting for the I mean, I always say if you put a camera in this studio all day, I would at some point be acting for it. I couldn't help myself. Did you find it at all disruptive?
No, Hard Knocks crew was incredible. And they do their best to not be disruptive. They do give us a heads up especially if you're one of the guys, I guess, they let you know, hey, listen, we're going to be following you today. There's going to be a camera around you at all times. We'll stay out your way, but just know the camera's on, the mic is on. Just be yourself. You don't have to put on no show or nothing. They are great at prepping guys and giving guys ample time to prepare themselves mentally, because we are still in training camp.
Right.
You are still competing. You are still getting yelled at. It is still extremely hot, and you are extremely tired. So you don't want to take that frustration or just emotions of training camp out on the crew, because they do a phenomenal job of making sure they stay out the way but get everything they need. So Hard Knocks, I know for sure for us at the Bucks, was not a distraction at all. Like at sometimes I would have to tap guys on the shoulder like, hey man, the camera right there, because you forget
Right.
they there for so long. You don't even realize they there at times. So, I don't think it's a distraction.
So, Stefon Diggs is a great player, but he's been paid and he's getting a ton of targets, and he's still not happy. And I compared him yesterday. I said, not all receivers that are noisy are the same. Dez Bryant was noisy very quickly. Antonio Brown got noisy a year in Tampa. But Randy Moss would be highly productive for years, and then over the course of time, Randy would wear you out or you'd wear him out. And that's okay. I think there's a market for guys that can give me 2 to 3 years of productivity. There is something about wide receivers. They break the huddle first. They're more like basketball players. They're sort of the ad-libber on the football team. They're the jump ball guy. And there's a certain ego and confidence with them that I like. Corners, by the way, have a little bit of that. You're kind of on your island by the sideline. It's kind of an independent contractor playing with the construction company, right?
Yeah.
Like you're on your own. So I like Stefon Diggs. But here's my thing. When the Patriots knew that Moss, something wasn't right at practice, boom, they moved off him and he had value. So Stefon Diggs, I got the theatrics. I got the camp. I would argue they went and drafted a tight end and upgraded running back, that he's got tremendous value, and I don't think he's a bad guy, but it's getting noisy. All it needs is one more blow up with Josh Allen on the sidelines, and that market, Gerald, shrinks. I think I'd move off him now and get stuff for him. Your thoughts? Am I nuts?
I wouldn't say you nuts. That's not like a far-fetched take. It's not like, that's not a hot take. I mean, it's very well thought out, and we've seen, if you base what you said off the history of what we've seen, what you said can actually be a very smart move. The only thing I'll say is we don't know. He's not saying much. Josh Allen did say there's things he could have done better to communicate with him more or get him more involved in the offense or give him more of a say-so. Once a guy's not happy, it's hard to get him back.
Right.
So we just don't know the magnitude of how unhappy he is. But with what we seen that last game with them together, it was it was a big deal, especially, across the fans and the media, and that interaction is something we hadn't seen at that magnitude. So if it is as bad as you say, you have something great going on down there. But I will say, losing a Stefon Diggs, if you do not get at least 2 or 3 people that can pick up that production, because, Josh Allen is 85% of that offense.
Yeah, right.
And most of his production is going to Stefon Diggs. So if you believe in Josh Allen so much that he can spread that out, okay, you move on. But that's a huge risk. A player of Stefon Diggs' magnitude, I believe the GM and the owner and the coaches, they have to really sit down and think about this. Is losing him worth it? Can we really get something for him before we do this? Because if you take the chance of saying something getting out that you might be trying to move him and he wasn't that unhappy, now you got a real problem on your hands. Because now it's like, oh, we want to get rid of it. And a player can take that the wrong way. A player may not see like, oh, well, it was everything I was doing, so they took it the wrong way, because there hasn't been any communication. We haven't heard of them communicating. So if he wants to get moved, I think he'll make that clear. But before that team makes a decision and something leaks that they want to move him, we've seen when a person finds out that a teammate trying to move them, it gets really, really bad.
Yep.
So they need to be clear of how bad it is before they even think about that.
So Gerald announced his retirement in April. A great career, a 6-time Pro Bowler. He was a dominant lineman at Oklahoma. So I don't want to get you all worked up here, but I said this.
Texas sucks. Keep going.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Big 12 Media Day voted and has Oklahoma third and barely ahead of Texas Tech. And the schedule's not very tough, so Oklahoma's going to win a lot of games. Here's my thing. I don't know. Last year, do you believe in Brent Venables? I got concerns, Gerald. Be honest now. Are you a little bit concerned? Little?
No.
None?
No. Well, I'm not concerned because I understand everybody is not made to be a head coach, but you see different characteristics that you don't understand as a kid. I've seen Coach Venables take over the whole team when Coach Stoops had to step away. I've seen Coach Venables lead our group on defense and get us to move in a way that a head coach would get us to move.
Yeah.
I understand some people should be coordinators. He's not one of those people.
All right.
People have to understand, even at the beginning of last year, I said, temper your expectations, man. We didn't know at the time. I felt it, but we didn't know at the time. We lost the Heisman Trophy winner. Do you know how big a blow that was? And usually, when you lose a guy of Caleb Williams' magnitude,
right?
Usually, you bringing in another guy that could be the next one of those. That could be the next. Think about it. We had Baker Mayfield. Kyler was sitting there waiting. We lost Kyler. Jalen Hurts just so happened to show up. What happens if Jalen Hurts doesn't show up? We don't know what happens with OU. You see what I'm saying? Then Spencer Rattler came in. He was okay. But then right after him comes Caleb Williams. We didn't have that last offseason. So with us not having all the players we needed, and this is no knock on the guys, but we didn't get the level of magnitude of players that OU usually has. That's reality. If you feel the way about it, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. But that's just reality. And that's what BV came into. But what he's doing is he's changing the culture back to what it used to be. When Lincoln was there was a lot of, a lot of stuff.
Offense.
It was a lot of offense, but you hear a lot of different things about how the program was being ran.
Yeah.
BV had to come in and filter all that out and start fresh.
Oh, boy.
He brought back Smitty, our strength coach. He brought back a lot of the old players to come help coach. He's bringing and resetting the culture. Now that we get the right players in, OU's going to be just fine.
All right.
But these guys have to mesh. I mean, you got a quarterback that came from UCF, and then he got hurt when we went 3-0, and then we played Texas, and we got killed, and this happened, and that happened, and that happened. Man, that's part of the season. But a lot of that is getting put on Brent Venables' shoulders, and I don't think it's fair because it's year one. I mean, we see a lot of coaches get tons of years. I mean, look at it. Everybody was killing Harbaugh, and he was winning. They were saying Harbaugh's the problem.
Well, that's a good –
Now he finally beats Ohio State, and now, Harbaugh gets an extension, and man, listen, you got to give coaches time. These players, especially with how times are changing, this portal is – I hate the portal, but that's another story. You got the portal. You got players that coaches are not even really recruiting no more because all it is who's giving the most money, who can take the best pictures on these recruiting visits.
Yeah.
Like recruiting is not what it used to be. You're not finding hidden gems like Sam Bradford, who was a 3-star coming into OU and won the Heisman, the first overall pick. You're not finding those kids no more.
All right.
Because it's transfer portal or who can pay this kid the most money, and that's who we getting. And are they paying the most over there? Then let's all go over there. Right. The difference in BV is
we got 30 seconds.
It does not matter who he has. Once the culture is set, everybody will see. So I'm not worried about BV at all. I'm definitely not worried about no preseason poll with Texas at the top. When's the last time that's become true? All you Texas fans and Longhorns, and I got a great friend. I talk to him every day. He just got hired at Texas. He's the edge rush coach for the Longhorns, Jacque Smith. I played with him in Tampa. I don't like you anymore either. I told him this. All you Texas fans and all of Texas, I don't care. It's OU versus the world. I don't care. But it's me versus Texas, and I will take on all the hate because I don't care. Y'all are not number one. Y'all won't be number one, and y'all suck. Moving on.
Gerald McCoy, we've run out of time. He brought the definitive opinions. I do appreciate that as always. Gerald, we got to run. Great seeing you. Great seeing you.
All right. Great seeing y'all, too.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Got a Yankee hat on. Derek Jeter on the show Monday. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.